Hey guys, this is Chris and Jason from the Paid Search Podcast. This is our after the show commentary where Jason and I talk about basically kind of what we just discussed in our podcast. And Jason, we just had a really good debate about SKAGs and SKAGs or MCAGs. So
Yep.
single keyword ad groups and multiple keyword ad groups. Jason, you want to give a brief description of what we're talking about here?
Yeah. So, Chris, we just had a debate, the great debate on our podcast, the Paid Search Podcast. It's a series we do. I took the side of promoting single keyword ad groups, one keyword per ad group in Google AdWords. You took the side of traditional multiple keyword ad groups. Just so you know, and the listeners know, it's just a debate. I am not butthurt. But Chris, one of your tactics, one of your strategies that I had to respond to was didn't just take the defense of multiple keyword ad groups. You went on the offense against promoters of single keyword ad groups who promote it as the only way, the way that has to be done. So you have to give them control of your AdWords account and give them money to manage it like experts do with single keyword ad groups. Chris, I did not know this was such a thing. Just like I explained at the end of our show, I just do things the way I do things. I know a handful of people who do it with single keyword ad groups like I do it. But one question I had for you is, where is this offensive attack fighting back against the promoters of single keyword ad groups? Where is that coming from? How much of a thing is this in our search industry right now? And are you hearing more and more about these SKAGs? And what's your experience hearing about it? What are the vibes out there?
Yeah. So Jason, I wouldn't really consider myself to be in the loop when it comes to, typical
Neither of us are.
agency work.
Yeah.
We're working out of our homes, doing our thing, freelancing, doing great work for many companies and getting paid money for doing good work. Okay. And we're trolling along and doing our jobs. And then there's this other society of people that, they're working these big, huge campaigns for big name clients. And they start to get this feeling where it's just like, we're untouchable. We do things that are just so grand, so, beyond what these guys that work, these freelance guys or these smaller campaigns.
So that's where it's
So maybe it's a little bit of reflection that, I'm not less than you, even though I, don't work with, Toyota or Ford or, some big company or something like that.
right.
Spending hundreds and hundreds of $1,000s on these massive campaigns that are complex. The idea that single keyword ad groups are the standard to achieve the best performance on AdWords is a fraud. It's absolutely not true. I've worked in AdWords for many, many years, and I can tell you that this idea is a strategy. And if you do a search for SKAG AdWords, you'll see long blog posts given about why it's the best strategy. But you do a search for multiple keyword strategies and you don't see any people trying to defend it. And the reason is because they feel no need to defend it. It's what Google says in their best practices. It's the way that any person that doesn't look up this special, high over the top method that people do, you have to go looking for this whole idea to even come across this whole single keyword ad group methodology. And so the idea that people need to do this to achieve some certain level of management, I think is silly. And I think that achievement of success in AdWords is easier than people would think. I think it's easier to achieve. And Jason, like I said, I'm sorry to put you in that, to pigeonhole you.
Great tactic.
Yeah.
I respect the tactic, not the man. Just kidding. No, I respect the tactic. And I wasn't expecting it because, like you say, you and I stay in our lane. Pretty sure for you, but I don't require contracts to sign. I don't require clients to sign contracts.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct. Our marketing is our work. we do a good job for clients, they refer us to other people, and they keep having us back month after month. So we stay in our lane. We do things the way we do things. We try to learn from each other and a limited number of sources, and we're not in that agency world. And one thing I never do, Chris, is I never speak bad about competitors or other people, really, because I hate that animosity, and it's just not good for anyone's business. So I don't speak about what other people are doing, but just when I hear you telling me that that is a thing going on out there, that promoters are saying you have to use single keyword ad groups, and it's getting you like way better performance, inaccurate, like it's disgusting. So if I look like I was smelling someone's dirty underwear the last 3 minutes while you're describing it, like that's what I was thinking about. Like that's so inaccurate. And it's honestly, it's bad for the Google AdWords ecosystem, because the whole deal is to tell people AdWords works, because it does, AdWords. But to try to scare people away, obviously I can see why some people are doing that. But I disagree with it. So is the question, can single keyword ad groups work for people like the way I like to see and structure things? Yes. Do I think it can help with performance sometimes? Yes. But is it totally necessary? No. And can you get great or as good performance from multiple keyword ad groups? And do I run multiple keyword ad groups? Yes. So for anyone who found this video asking themselves, do I have to be doing single keyword ad groups? The answer is no. The answer, Chris, is what we always talk about, the fundamentals. On relevant searches, negative keywords, match types, all that kind of stuff. But the idea that you have to be doing this, that's wrong. And honestly, you made a great point at the beginning. It's so much work to set it up. Myself have figured out ways using Excel to set it up quickly, but it's so hard to set it up that I think this I don't know what you call it, this thing going around in the industry, I think it's going to fade away, because one, it's really hard to do, and it actually does take a really smart person to run it. And then two, it's fighting against what Google's doing with the exact match keyword changes and things. So I don't think it's going to stick around, Chris, but I have seen some of our listeners ask us about it, and you told me you're seeing it out there.
Yeah, definitely. It's not something that I find a lot of business owners asking about, because honestly, business owners are on their level. They're just trying to do the best that they can and get get quality clicks from AdWords. So they don't care if they use SKAG or multiple keywords, right, or anything like that. They just want the best quality. So I don't hear it from normal everyday advertisers. What I hear it from are for blog posts, on big name blogs and agencies that are blogging about this stuff, and they'll play this up because they feel that this is the superior method. This is the master race of AdWords managers does this, and if you can't do this, then you need to hire us because we do it.
I would say the master race of AdWords managers, Chris, I think it comes down to pretty much those who use negative keywords, and then there's a big group that don't even go that far.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't take going to the extent of single keyword ad groups, but that's not to say go for it if you want to do it. Let me defend it a little, Chris, here. I really do benefit efficiency wise and like the way it looks in my accounts and like the way it helps me manage things. So if you like doing it, would you at least say you're not hurting yourself as long as you use relevant ads? I think that's a big kicker that you don't think most people are going to do.
Yeah, I think honestly, if I were to talk about it honestly, if there is someone out there that can actually put the time in and build this out properly and maintain it the proper way, then I think it would be a good thing to do. But here's the thing, Jason, you know why I'm employed for so long now, doing this on my own, self-employed?
Yeah, I was going to bring this point up. It's not so much our skills that separate us and keep us employed. It's the fact that we can do things good in AdWords in a time efficient way that business owners can't do. Yeah. That's the secret sauce.
Yeah.
And so the idea that business owners or many freelancers or agencies are going to do these single keyword ad groups at scale with relevant ads, which is the big differentiator the big thing that makes it successful or not, that I can appreciate your skepticism.
Yeah. Yeah. And in the end,
So Chris,
I was just going to say, in the end, when it comes down to it, you can't have an AdWords campaign that you build up with single keywords and have issues with time management and trying to maintain it yourself, because you're going to come into the same problem why you and I, Jason, are employed, is because clients come to us and say, I know how to do AdWords. I understand it. I've done okay over these years, but I just don't have time. That's what they say.
Yeah. But unless you're the unicorn who does make relevant ads and do it in a time efficient way. So Chris, that was a strong debate. You definitely did much better in this debate than the first 2 or 3. So I'll at least give you that.
Thank you.
And I felt the real passion. I felt the work was put into this. The idea of you trying to defend landing pages, that was just not a natural defense for you.
Yeah, no, it didn't.
And you didn't put your heart into that one as much as this one. So I commend you on this one.
Well, thanks. Guys, Jason and I do this every week. We have a podcast, and
every week,
and yeah, we're here. And if you like what you hear, you want to hear more what Jason and I have to say about Google AdWords, subscribe to our show. We do it here on YouTube, and we also have a podcast. And you can find more information about everything at paidsearchpodcast.com. Of course, there will be a link below, as always. And I'm Chris. That's Jason, and together we are the Paid Search Podcast, and we will see you guys next week.